All of my work is body-based, and I do art installations and I do movement-based work. So the idea has been brewing for a really long time. I was interested in doing something in public space that would be using female bodies in a way that was empowering, in a way that was reclaiming the space that they're in, that was also all of my work has a lot to do with agency and encouraging each individual to find the ways that they can make choices and remember that their choices are significant. But I've been thinking about a project like this for several years, probably since around 2011. I actually had an abortion at preterm, and I had the experience of having to walk in through protests, and I'm very sensitive to the space and tone of where I am. And so just that energy of having people yelling and degrading my experience, it really affected me and it stuck with me. And so for a long time I've been wanting to, the idea originally I wanted to do something that would actually be positive and would sort of cleanse a space so that all of those negative things being thrown at my body and being thrown at me as a person would be counteracted. And I was looking at ways, and my practice has changed a lot, so I didn't know what it was going to be, but I've been looking at ways that I could sort of meet that and counter it. So it was told to me that it's not helpful to bring more attention to Planned Parenthood. I was looking for what space I would do it in, and I was told by a lot of people, mostly in women's health centers and abortion centers, that it's not helpful at all to have any more attention. They already have protesters, and even though it's a nice thought to sort of have the counter to that, to have a counter protest situation, it's not helpful in the long run to the actual individuals. And so I respect that, and I didn't want to cause more problems. So I was looking for a space that would be effective and that would be important and that would still have that sense of the tension being thrown at the body, especially the woman's body, to meet that and to counteract it. The RNC ended up being that. So with it being in Cleveland and that being the conversation, also with Trump being the nominee, the presumptive now nominee, and his politics, and then a lot of what's been mounting this year and these last couple of years, there's a lot of Republican candidates who are in the spotlight right now who are particularly opposed to women's health, to birth control, to abortion, and there's an increasing regulation on the body, and so that just kept mounting on this project. I chose to do it here for the safety of everyone participating. Also, I wanted to really transform a space, and I felt like this would be more feasible than transforming a space in public square or that has already been so highly militarized that it couldn't be dismantled. I'm really interested in this piece coming out of what would be considered everyday life. So this is, even though the convention's happening, everyone that's in these spaces, they're on their way home from work. They're on their way to dinner after a convention. They're on their way somewhere. This is a very real space for them. Some people, this is a resting space. When it was really hot, this was like, a shaded resting space. So it has different purposes, but it's a very lived-in place. And so for us to embody that felt enough like the original idea, and it felt very relevant. I invited participants. Everyone is a community participant who's walking, and we set the times based on that idea of having it be part of Cleveland life, and then still butting up against the convention. One of the police officers that was watching, I think the first or second time we did it, he asked if there was a significance to the number of steps forward and then the number of steps back. And I teased him. I said it wasn't like a cosmic number, but it is really intentional that there are 8 steps forward and 6 steps back, because that is how it feels, at least for me. That's how it's been feeling, that every advance we make and every time that I feel very secure in my rights and that they're understood and, the empowerment, then it feels like it's taken away. And so that was intentional, to have it be advancing and receding. And we had to have a number system that adequately represented that. So it's not a direct straight path. It's it has a zigzag to it. That's what I call it. But it has a wandering to it. It has a little bit of a indirectness that it sort of honors that not everybody knows the answer or even the destination, but is still trying. That is still moving generally forward. That is still taking that step, even if it's uncertain where exactly that next step falls. So that has a little bit to do with the zigzagness of it. And then we sort of settled on the number and the particular score of the movement because it was easy enough to repeat and to hold that, even while being a part of the space and recognizing each other and everyone else in it. So it ended up being that. Partly also because it was doable. It was something the people who don't dance or memorize movement could jump into, could be, comfortable enough to get. So the name of the project is Longest Walk, and there's a couple of places to check in on it. We're live tweeting, at least through the rest of the RNC. It's hashtag Longest Walk RNC. And then there's a Facebook event also called Longest Walk. And I do my work under the artist name of Meg Louise. So my website is meglouise.info. And you can check things out there.